everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of 31 Days of Indie Horror. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I've got an awesome guest. Please introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Lixy Malice Lestat.
All right, how are you doing, Lixie?
Fantastic. And everything's going pretty good. Staying busy like everybody else, but or trying to stay busy like everybody else. Yeah, for the most part, but everything's going good.
Good. So I picked this movie having not knowing that you even were a fan of it or not, but I picked All Hallows Eve because because next year we're gonna do Terrifier for sure. But this year I wanted to do, All Hallows Eve to kind of get people, I guess, aware. And when not many people actually know of this movie as much as they know of Terrifier, you know. Um,
Wow. Wow, I find that hard to believe. That's
Trust
crazy.
me, trust me. I've talked to a lot of people. I mean, see, you're kind of you're in the horror world. Like you love horror, you love special effects, you do your special effects stuff, you love all that stuff. So you're probably, I mean, this is up your alley anyway. But most people who have just heard of Terrifier, I think, don't really know much about All Hallows Eve.
Well, the gorier the better for me. That's what I always say. So the very few in my local town that know me are kind of creeped out by my weirdness and my goriness. It's not very normal around here.
Well,
But
we love that in NV Film Cafe.
well, that's good to know. It's a little rare around here, but I enjoy the fact that it's rare because it scares a lot of people, and when I'm able to scare someone or make them sick to their stomach, I know that I'm doing a pretty good job. So I actually enjoy doing that. So yeah, I know I'm all the gorier the better. So with All Hallows Eve, it gave some straight up gore, and I love that. It was great.
And as I was telling you before, I've decided we're putting this out on All Hallows Eve. So I thought this was sort of a good like precursor to Halloween and kind of get people in the Halloween spirit. And I think it does do that. So I want to talk a little bit about it. It's funny. I just looked it up a second ago because I was wondering. It's very close to the anthology VHS, you know, which happened like a year before. So I feel like it was a little bit inspired by that idea of like, watching VHS tapes. Obviously, it's not a VHS. Well, I mean, it feels like a VHS movie, or whatever. Um, but like that's how it starts as, the idea of this kid getting a videotape in his trick or treat bag. But I wanted to ask you, do you yourself own a VHS VCR?
Yes, actually, I do. I own several VCRs. So yes.
Yes. I don't own one in my house, but I have one at the studio. Mainly because sometimes we have movies that are only available on VHS that we can watch, to review and
Oh
everything.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Uh,
no, I actually have several VCR players and a VCR DVD combo. I own two of those actually, but that's because my nephew used to work at the Goodwill, so
oh,
I got some pretty good steals.
wait, what was the discount that you could get?
My employee discount or his employee discount was 40%.
Wow.
But there was a friends and family discount that was it was close to 30%.
Okay.
So yeah, I got some pretty good things. But he managed to work in the back. So because he worked in the back department, excuse me, because he worked in the back department, he was actually able to view things that were coming in and
And then
check
text
out the
you.
thing like the worth. Yes, he would text me, send me photos and ask me, hey, I have this, I found this, do you need that? So yeah, it was a pretty good thing while it lasted there.
That's amazing. That's awesome. I would love for people to just send me Goodwill stuff. Do you need this? Do you need that? I'd definitely be down. I guess
Oh yeah, for
it
sure.
helps Goodwill too, you know.
Oh yes, of course, it definitely does.
Yeah. So, so you have a VCR, and because my question was who had a VCR in 2013? But I
Mm,
don't know, were they still a thing? Did people still, I mean,
I
you
don't
and
think
I do, or
no.
kind of what?
No, no, no. I don't think people in 2013 owned VCRs. Not a lot of people even knew what a VCR was in 2013. Um, that was an ancient mechanical thing that happened at that time. It was a dinosaur, so not a lot of people knew about that.
It would have been funnier if it were like a laser disc, that he had to plop in. Um, or
Like
Betamax.
IBM soft drive, like a little soft floppy disk.
Yeah.
Yes, a floppy disk.
Well, that's a computer game, right, or something? Because I don't know. Could you watch?
Yeah.
You couldn't watch movies
No,
like
you
that.
couldn't. But yeah, the only thing we had was VCRs. We didn't have DVDs or, all these tiny little gadgets and gadgets that we have nowadays. Cell phones. We didn't have touchscreen cell phones. Like that's just completely unheard of. I'm 39. So I was born in 82.
Same with
Yeah,
me.
I'm from from an era where, we're like, where Carmen San Diego was the greatest technology you could have ever seen, or played in video games
The
at that
Oregon
time in
Trail.
in school. Oregon Trail was the best. You once you made
Hmm.
it past that certain river,
Yeah.
like you were golden.
Yeah.
You knew you won the
Exactly.
game.
Yeah. Pretty much. And until you got dysentery, then you're screwed. Um.
Oh yeah, your whole family with your one outfit that you could only afford because you had to kill an ox or two to catch it
Yep.
to buy that item. That's ridiculous.
Hmm. So, this movie, All Hallows Eve, has like, so the videotape is in the what is it, in the trick or treat bag, and kid even knows what a the tape is and stuff, and I'm like, like it would have been better if you were like, what is this, and they had to dig out the VCR to play it, and stuff.
Well, the creep factor when that to me, what got me was this young kid and I don't know about 2013, but it's just me being a child or being around that age range. If I were to receive like a VHS tape in my trick or treat bag or pillowcase, that's kind of creepy all on its own. So it's like, what could it possibly be that one had to give this VHS tape away for the next person to see? It's yeah, it's kind of creepy.
And the kid was all excited about it. This is my tape, like I got this. And the babysitter was thinking it was probably porn, like homemade porn or something, which
You
I'm
can't watch this. This is horrible.
right. Like, you can't watch this. Who knows what's going to happen on this,
Yeah, it's probably from 19 the 70s, like it's like we can't watch that. It's just something saucy from 1970s. You can't look at that.
but, but thankfully it's just Art the Clown, which,
Yeah.
uh, and so what I've understood, so I did a little research and I found out this information from Wikipedia that actually totally, now I understand things a little better. It said my intention wasn't to make an anthology film, like that wasn't his original intention. This was just a reason to get Terrifier onto DVD and whip it into a feature. That's the short film, Terrifier, that was made in 2011, just to get it out there to get more people familiar with Art the Clown. and hopefully get a little bit more of a fan base. And that was from Damien Leon. Leon created the character of Art the Clown, who was first featured in the short film The Ninth Circle. We'll get into that because we'll talk about each short, which Leon wrote and directed. The short was filmed on 35 millimeter in 2006 and premiered at the Backseat Film Festival in 2008. Shout out to Doug Sackman, who ran the Backseat Film Festival, for getting a shout out there. That's awesome. And Leon then wrote another and directed Terrifier, another short film featuring art that was released in 2011. All Hallows E producer Jesse, it's Baget or Baggett. I'm not sure. So sorry if I messed up your name. Viewed the Terrifier short on YouTube, prompting him to consider including an anthology film for shorts by other filmmakers, but he wasn't going to do that. He decided to put it out on, out in its own movie, created a whole anthology around it, and then added another short that only had Art the Clown at the end as like a picture or whatever. But the short, and the reason for that being was that, from what I've read, is that Damien Leon did not want the Art the Clown to be not just in every segment, but like the whole point of the third one, right? Like the third the Terrifier short was that it was just all Art the Clown, right? So I think if you saw Art the Clown in every segment, you might sort of start getting sick of like, okay, now he's killing again. Okay, this is not,
Yeah.
In the first one, he just kidnaps the girl and gives them to the Ninth Circle. But in the third movie, he's actually the villain, the main villain.
Yes.
And he is, the guy who played him, I forgot his name. Do you remember his name? It was like Mike. Mike Gianelli.
Gianelli, right.
Did a fantastic job as Art. And apparently he didn't come back for the feature because he had retired by then. Which is weird because he was so young. He's still so young. Like, I don't understand him retiring, but all right. So he left the business, and David Howard Thornton took over, and Terrifier now is basically the new Art the Clown. Which
I
absolutely love David's portrayal of him, but also really like Mike's. I think he did a great job.
They're both beautiful, and they're both great, and they're both beautiful at capturing that character Art. But the amazing thing is actually carry it on and still have that same, not really realizing that it's a different person, because we see this now in new horror films, that if you replace, Freddy or Pinhead or Jason, you start to, they don't mesh well together. They don't connect. You can tell it's somebody different. So
look at the new Halloween.
The fact that they can actually keep going.
Well, I will say that the newest Michael Myers is honestly my favorite Michael Myers. I always thought Tyler Mane was my favorite, but this dude has beat Tyler Mane out in everything. So I'll just say that.
I still have yet to watch that, because I'm gonna say I've been building a tiny little home that I'm gonna create to a post-apocalyptic scene. So it's some art that I'm doing. So I still have yet to watch that one.
Okay.
But I've heard nothing but good things about it. So
I've heard mixed reviews. So everybody in the horror community is either like, oh my God, I love Halloween Kills, or everybody's like, I hate Halloween Kills.
You either love it or you hate it, but that's just how it works in horror films or gore. But Yeah, just originally, it's great that both guys were able to capture art and carry art to, you know, it just seemed like it flowed very well. It's the same person. It was kind of hard, to tell between the acting skills because they just flowed so well.
Well, it's interesting. Okay, so we never like in the first ninth circle or whatever short, which we'll talk about right now. You meet Art the Clown, but you never know his name. He never says his
Hmm.
name. Nobody ever says his name. Like, if unless it's credits in the short film that say his name, you wouldn't know, right? Like, you just know he's
Right,
like a creepy clown. And then
right.
in the third one, Terrifier, uh, he says his name by like putting it in, and it's kind of interesting because he doesn't go Art the Clown. He just writes Art, you know. And
Hmm.
if I
Hmm.
didn't know his name was Art the Clown because that's how they all talk about him and everything, and obviously I saw Terrifier first. I didn't see All Hallows Eve first. So
Okay.
I knew Art's name, but had I not known that, I would have probably thought that he was just saying it was art what he was making, by this
Right.
stuff because it sort of
Yeah.
was. And I think that's actually kind of a neat thing of like he's Art the Clown, but he also sort of loves like the art of murder, the art of
Yes.
all this stuff.
Yeah,
And
it's the kill.
it's the
It's
murders, is
the
the
Yeah,
destruction.
it's the same as like when I do the yes, exactly. It's the matter of in most serial killers, because I had a fascination with serial killers. But it's the fact, and to them it is art if they're able to, for Jeffrey Dahmer, for example, um being able to turn one into a live doll, um and just be there. That's an art. It's a skill. But to
It's
be
fucked
able
up
to
and
say, look at my
twisted, but
Frankenstein. this is this is my Frankenstein. You know, that's fucked up and twisted, but that is an art of the mad-minded person,
mm-hmm.
which is art, the clown.
Yeah. And so I like that. I like that his name was Art, and that sort of what he was doing was that. So I really dug that. This is honestly, I mean, if I had to talk about both movies, I mean, generally speaking, I haven't really reviewed that many anthology films because it now this 31 Days of Indie Horror actually have done at least one other one, but I don't really do that many because you have to talk about each segment, and sometimes there's a lot of his segments.
Hmm.
This only had three, and weirdly enough, the wraparound segment, the babysitter stuff, was a lot longer than normal wraparound segments. You know,
Oh, yeah, agreed. That's why it made it more likable for me, because it seemed like you were visualizing a book, versus reading it in words. So I really did enjoy the fact that it had this fourth segment that ran longer than the three segments.
mhm.
But it just, it managed to go well together, and it had a nostalgic feel to me. Very, very late 80s, maybe early 90s, type of feel to it. So I really did enjoy that.
You're saying like the Princess Bride type stuff where the guy's reading the story to us. That was the thing I kind of got, and it kind of honestly kind of took me out of the movie at times when they would come out of the movie. Like you would see their
Hmm.
reactions to stuff. That was my probably one of my only pet peeves with the movie was like too much of them, like seeing
Uh,
them react to things because I'm like, I'm trying to react to these things. And when I see
yeah,
them do it, I'm like, okay, now I'm kind of forced to, feel that way or whatever, as opposed to if they, because I understand they're trying to let you know they're still watching it, or whatever. But like,
yeah,
I know that, while I'm watching it, I know that they're watching this thing. I don't even need to see any of their reactions,
yeah, yeah.
because I should be having those reactions. Like,
Exactly. Reaction videos while watching a video is probably not the best thing like,
this
to
was
have.
reaction videos before reaction videos became a thing. That's funny.
Hey, what do you know?
Hmm.
Maybe we've just discovered something that nobody else has discovered before.
Maybe.
Just
I don't
saying.
know. Maybe they discovered it first because, like, if you think about it, if they did this beforehand, all of a sudden people are
Yeah.
like, let's do some reaction videos, just like All Hallows Eve. I don't know.
Reaction videos before reaction videos are going to be popular, you
Yeah,
know,
they
in
maybe he started
10
a
plus
trend.
years.
Um, yeah. Uh, well, actually, if this were done today, if they did another All Hallows Eve, they would have it probably as a reaction video. They would do it where you would see some of it. Well, you would watch the movie, and then when you would come back to them, it'd be them watching the movie, but you could see the movie on the bottom screen, or whatever. I could see that
So
happening.
it's like picture in picture reaction, picture
Yes.
in picture, and then reaction, like all at the same time.
Yeah, it would be like
Yeah.
movie, then picture in picture reaction movie, picture, like that. I mean, I'm surprised nobody's done that yet, you know. But I'm sure it's on its way. I mean, we are kind of living in that age where people are um
Yes.
taking advantage of the technologies and the stuff that's going on in our life. And so once again, it was interesting that they chose a VHS. And I think it
Mm-hmm.
really does have a lot to do with the movie VHS, because that was an anthology film about a VHS. So like there's just no way like they have both had the same idea. Maybe they did. Maybe, I mean,
Yeah.
who knows?
Maybe.
Um,
You never know.
but or maybe that kind of sucked for All Hallows Eve because VHS was the one that went, you know, they created
Oh,
so
yeah.
many of them. There's like 4 or 5 of them now, so I mean, there's only 2 All Hallows Eve, and the second
Yeah,
one
only two.
did not have Art the Clown in it whatsoever, and was only produced by Damien. Was not like he didn't direct any of the segments. um
Right. I still have yet to watch that one only because Art was not in it. So
oh, you
that's
so
a
I say
little
it.
bit, I'm kind of like,
Do you really want to
should
watch?
I not? I feel like I'm
I mean, I don't know
probably
if
not going to be that interested, but
you
it's
guys
on my
have
list to
seen it.
watch.
If you guys have seen it, down below, comment. Let us know if it's actually worth watching, because I would love to know. Like, is that All
Yes,
Hallows
please.
Eve too? I
Please.
mean, I've no idea. It's same producer, and they kind of have the same concept of somebody get delivered a VHS, and then I guess you watch the movie, and then things start happening at the house or whatever. Um,
Ah,
so okay, so let's talk about that though. Like, okay, so we see all 3 segments. One segment is a group of devil worshippers, I guess, kind of take this baby and they kill the person with the baby, and I don't know, just craziness happens in that movie. The second one's about an alien, and it's
mm-hmm.
weird.
It is a little bit odd.
It feels like attacked on short, if you know what I mean. Like it feels like it was
Yes,
added.
it feels definitely out of place. Because without adding any spoilers, just watching it just felt out of place and saying, where in the hell did this come from? Where is it going? When did we start to turn this into a fucking sci-fi film? Like, I'm not understanding it, but then it comes to play at the very tail end, the very last little bit, it comes into play, and to me that segment just felt off. It did not feel complete. It was very short and not detailed into a story. So that segment honestly was probably on a scale from 1 to 5. I'm gonna give it like a 2. I just didn't really like that segment.
Yeah, it was my least favorite segment. I mean, the ninth circle wasn't my favorite either. I think my favorite short of all of them was Terrifier, the one that spawned the movie, so it totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
that was just a little bit more fun, and honestly, this is gonna sound bad, but I kind of wish it was the first one, you know, like I wish it had gone the
Yeah.
opposite order, where it was the first one, then the alien one could stay in the second one, because it wasn't it wasn't horrible, but it was sort of boring in my opinion. And
Mm-hmm.
so it kind of
Agreed.
is a perfect middle one, because you don't want your boring one to be your first or your last, you know.
Right. Right.
And so I've always kind of learned that, as speaking, like, I always, whenever I'm doing my anthology stuff, because I do a lot of anthologies, I choose to kind of do, make sure that it's spaced out exactly the way it should be, for people who would be, whose attention span would keep going. You have to put the stuff in the middle, be the ones that probably people would suffer through, because they already liked the first one. So that's the thing.
Yes.
You have to hook them.
Agreed.
Yeah, because honestly, had I not been reviewing this movie, I may not have wanted to watch all of it, because the Ninth Circle was not as entertaining. Art the Clown was cool. I just I it just felt like every other short film I've seen, where there's a bunch of people getting kidnapped and then tortured by whatever, and just didn't have anything
Mm-hmm.
cool or different or fun um to it. And then, except for the special effects, the makeup was amazing.
The special effects is really good. In that segment, and it started out really good, and then about halfway through, like you said, it started to get just really regular. It
Yeah.
just seemed like every other, just plain boring kind of out there, like, and not like out there, but just any old regular Wednesday. Like,
Yeah.
it just came off that way,
Every other horror
very
film.
easy on Sunday morning.
Exactly. Which, I mean, it's fine. That's fine. Especially if you're just putting it out, and getting people's attention. But this just wouldn't have been, something I would have sought out. But now that I'm thinking about it, hey, we lost your video. Huh. Are you there?
Yep.
Oh
Okay.
no. Uh-oh. I was scared. I thought Art the
Sorry.
Clown was about to pop out. So
No,
that would have been awesome.
I should have. That would have been. You know what? I was actually thinking about doing Art's makeup
You said
earlier
that earlier,
today.
so I was expecting you to do that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, it would have been that would
There's
have been
always next
hilarious.
time.
When we do the Terrifier, you're invited back. The Terrifier movie.
Oh, most definitely. Then Art is on for sure.
Right.
Like,
And here's the thing with like I said, I like, I'm now that I'm thinking about it, I guess the best one should be the last, right? Like,
yeah, it should definitely be the last. Because that is what makes you come back for more. You want to know more about this character, and no matter how fucking psycho he is, you need to know more about his character. You need to see more of that. Like, I can't watch it, but I have to look at what this fucking freak is gonna do next. So yeah, the best definitely has to be last.
actually, it's weird. I was kind of covering my eyes at times, because there were some really good squirmy scenes, and I was like, should I be watching this? Like, this seems really fucked up.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so what was okay? So who do you think sent the tape? You know, I mean, that's not a question that's ever
That's
answered.
the can you repeat that?
I said, who do you think actually sent the tape, like, to the kid? like trick or treating?
I'm not for sure. I think it was probably, I'm going to say, a random asshole teenager
You think so?
who's had some really, yeah, like he's probably had some friends that's told him this tale before. Kind of like the fucking Ring. Yeah, like you watch this video, it comes to life, and the shit will haunt you and you will die by watching it. So he's probably had a friend or two or four die, from watching this fucked up video. And so instead of him watching it, or maybe he did watch it, and now he's just passed it along or threw it in the fucking candy basket. But, if he did that, then maybe the little asshole kid decided, hey, look, it's a fucking VHS tape. It's one of those, grab your own candy and go kind of things. And he snuck it in his own bag and pretended to be, an idiot. Like, I don't know where it came from, probably thinking it's some saucy 1970 shit, who knows?
I don't know. Like I'm trying to think. That's a good idea. That's a good thought. I was trying to think because I think the way that they tried to show it was like supernatural, you know, like it just
Yeah.
popped up
Yeah.
there and stuff. And I don't know. I can't tell.
Maybe it just did arrive in, I mean, like, it would be weird to be a trick or treater and not know that somebody handed you a VHS tape
Right? I was thinking that too. I
or
was
put
like,
it in your bag. Like,
so there's two things about that. Like, there's no way. So we can rule that out. There's no way some guy just randomly gave him a tape because he would be like, dude, I don't want this. Like, or maybe it would be
then
like, I
why are you
want
handing
this.
me some tape?
Maybe like, oh, that's kind of cool. Thank you. You know? Um,
Depending on what kind of weird kid it is, but it's 2013 and he's willing to take a VHS tape over candy or cash.
but
Just
he's
saying.
got a lot of candy. I don't know. Um, I don't know. Like at that, maybe the guy gave him candy and the tape. It's like, here you go, kid. But it definitely wasn't like
Yeah, yeah,
art.
that is
You know,
true.
it definitely
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
art
but
doing it.
you're absolutely correct. I think it's probably just definitely not art, but it's probably like meant to come off as if it was just this occurrence that just happened like out of the blue. It just manifested like in his bag. It just like popped up there. And then
Probably.
now the curse is passed on to him and whoever's watched it.
Yep. Just like you said, like earlier, The Ring, and I never even thought about that actually when I was watching it. Which it's funny because that is, that's absolutely The Ring is, the VHS tape that you
Yeah.
pop in and it kills you. So it's
Oh
very
yeah, yeah. Here, phone rings. You have 7 days. Oh,
well. They
oh,
didn't
it's
even
crazy
fucking
stuff.
art doesn't even give you 7 days. It gives you, 7.5.
15 seconds.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7 minutes, but maybe a little longer. He lets you watch it. But what I did like was there was that talk with the babysitter about the fact that, well, if you don't watch it, then it can't hurt you, right? Like she even says
Oh
that.
yeah, the friend. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's just like, well, if you don't watch it, it can't hurt you. But she goes to drink her beautiful tiny glass or two of her Merlot and watch something she forbid the children to watch.
Well,
So
because the
yeah, she
curiosity
set
got to her.
herself up for something.
Well,
Curiosity killed the cat, and she was the ginger kitty who got involved in it.
well, big question. In your mind, would she have, like, had she not watched it, would she still have gotten killed by art?
Um, well, it was too late, I think, at that
Once you
point.
start it,
She cannot not watch it. Once you start it, you have to finish it. She starts watching a black and white film, but that didn't pique her interest. And that remote and that VCR was calling her name. And once you start that, you cannot not finish it. And Serbian films are kind of like that. You shouldn't be watching them, but once you start watching it, you can't help but to continue to watch it. It's
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. It's really fucked up, but you have to finish it.
Oh yeah, that was me when we were watching Pink Flamingos. I didn't. I was almost like I don't know if I want to watch this. I want to stop it, but then I'm like, I can't look away.
You have to
Like
finish it.
yeah.
You
But
have to
I
finish it.
had a fun time watching it. Especially when you and it goes to back to this is like when you're watching something you shouldn't be watching, and it's funny because it starts out with the kids, like she's trying to protect the kids, but really she's also trying to protect herself. Like she knows she shouldn't be watching this. Seems really fucked up
Oh yeah.
and stuff, and
Yeah.
um and this is one of the first movies that I really watched where they fucking kill the kids. Spoiler alert, sorry, but they fucking kill the
Oops.
kids. I mean, that's awesome. That doesn't normally happen. You know,
No. You don't normally see kids, well, you didn't see them being killed, but the fact that they're dead and you can clearly see that they're mutilated and just dead. Um yeah, that doesn't happen a lot, so it was a very surprise. Um it kind of was surprising, but like I love special effects and I love gore and I love the horror. That um was just great.
it was
It
fun.
was great to just watch, it was definitely fun. Kind of got my brain thinking and blood pumping, but yeah, you don't see that a lot in films at all. So the fact that you got a chance to see that and the reaction from the babysitter. But the one thing that I did notice was, or thought about while watching it, was that she still put the children's risk or their life in harm's way and at risk for actually getting killed by continuing to watch said film that she told them not to watch.
Right.
So contradictory, hypocrite,
Yeah, I mean, she's telling them
all the way.
don't watch
Oh
this
yeah.
movie, because
Hmm.
bad things will happen if you watch it, and of course, bad things happen. Like
Yeah. So that was what I was thinking while actually watching it. It's like you put those children's life at risk by watching something you said they should not watch. Yeah, so it's kind of hilarious. I wonder if she went to get that drink afterwards, after all.
she's like, yeah, I need that drink right now. Um, I
Yeah,
I
totally.
I did like that the Terrifier short coincided well with what happened at the babysitters. So there's that scene
Yes.
where the girl is getting chased by Art, and she gives a call, and she like her battery's running out, and she needs to call somebody,
Hmm.
and I don't know
Yes.
why she called that late girl or what, you know what I mean? Like I thought she was calling
Yeah. No,
911,
no idea.
but we hear
You would think.
yeah, but so she calls the girl in the outside world, or whatever, that's not in the video, which makes me wonder,
Hmm.
like, is this really happening, or is it,
Yeah.
like that's what my thoughts were, was like, was it really happening and they were really calling, and there was just, I mean, it was just weird. Like you're wondering how the hell all of this works.
But in each segment, if you notice, there was a phone call that took place in every segment. Minus the first one. Um,
Yes, that's
yeah,
true.
because the girl was sitting in the subway, and the only connection that she had was with the boyfriend, the girlfriend who walked in the room and asked her if she had a cigarette. But other than that, every segment contained a phone call to some obsolete person. Um, so it was very interesting. So, and then it made me wonder, was, the person in the phone call actually real? Did they really call somebody? In that case, then where's the 911 people? Or,
Nobody showed up.
essentially, yeah, or essentially, you know, is that person going to be affected or heard by this story um, later on, kind of thing. So it was very interesting. Man, I had a lot of things like that could have happened to it though.
Yeah. Uh, all in all, like you've seen this short or not short feature, but you've seen the whole movie like a bunch of times. Um, like like out of curiosity, like how many times have you seen it?
I've probably watched All Hallows Eve about 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
So quite a few times.
Yeah. And so you were familiar with it when I even asked you. In fact, you had said you had just seen it like the other day, right? Before I even asked
Yeah,
you.
I seen it about like 4 or 5 days ago, about five days ago or so, a little bit less than a week. I actually watched it. Um, I revisited it. I tend to do so every Halloween, around
Yep.
Halloween time. It's one of the must watches, Terrifier and All Hallows Eve, Sleepaway Camp, Bloody
Sleepaway
Bible
Camp?
Camp.
Oh.
All of yeah, it's a must watch. Um, um, Even during Christmas, it's Silent Night, Deadly Night. I'll watch that around Christmas time. But All Hallows Eve for sure is a must around Halloween time that I have to revisit that. So it's one of my favorites, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely like it seems like just like Trick or Treat and a lot of these films, and that's
Yeah.
another anthology. It's sort of one of those things where you gotta watch it every Halloween. It's a new
Oh, it's a
Halloween staple.
must. It's a must.
But yeah, the greatest thing about this was it was a Halloween anthology that wasn't all about Halloween. You know,
Yeah,
um,
that is very interesting.
yeah. I mean, aside from the title All Hallows Eve, it was not. The only part about Halloween was the fact that it was Halloween for them. Other than that, like it wasn't about Halloween. It was about Art the Clown.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering what
Um,
now I'm wondering about the sequel. Like, do they make it more
mhm.
Halloweeny in the sequels? Or whatever.
Yeah, like how could you make it more Halloweeny? Um, because with Terrifier, uh, I absolutely that's like I said, that's a must watch too. So speaking of that, tomorrow I'm gonna watch that actually. So
Oh,
that is on
nice.
the list to watch tomorrow. Yeah, and Halloween Kills. So that's on the list for me to watch too as well. I have
So,
a couple of other views, but
so do you have like? I mean, do you do that every day? Watch a Halloween movie for the date, month of October?
I try to. I absolutely try to, but having an 8-year-old, yeah, it's a little bit difficult and different because sometimes she's like, "No, I don't want to watch this," or "I don't want to watch that," but she has her own computer, so she's able to watch what she wants to, and I'm like, "Oh, you have to give me time to watch this," but um, I kind of get away with it sometimes when I do special effects on her. I practice special effects on her, and then I can get away with watching,
Hmm.
a horror film because she's in her computer. She's watching her thing. So yeah, I try to. It's a little
Yeah.
difficult, but I try to.
Go to your room. I gotta watch Terrifier.
Yes, yes, I have to watch Terrifier.
Yeah. Do you actually? I have to ask this because you kind of opened the door for it. Do you let your kid watch horror films, or are you very picky on that kind of stuff?
No, I'm not at all. She's 8. My dad was different with me when I was 5 years old. The first film that I ever watched was by Joe D'Amato, and it was Beyond the Darkness.
Nice.
Um, second film, it was second film I ever watched. It was Evil Dead, and the third film I ever watched, it was Demons. And from that point on, I knew that I was not a regular child. So that's, and it started when I was 5. So, yeah, I was always a night owl, and my parents never really had limitations on me watching horror films, so I really don't have that with her. I leave that up to her to watch. If it's too gory or gross, she'll tell me. If not, then she'll watch it.
That's the way to parent, because I feel like a lot of parents are
Yeah.
afraid to show the kids something because either they think that'll scare them to death and they'll have nightmares, whatever. Which I had nightmares when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
I loved them, you know, like
Oh yeah. 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 I still love them.
I I don't actually, because the nightmares I
Aww.
have feel really real, and I'm
Ah.
when I make a movie, like, you call cut, and it's like it's not scary at all, right? Whatever, right? You know, when
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
in the middle of that and it feels like you're actually in the movie, you know, that's terrifying, you know, for real.
Oh
So
yeah, I completely understand. It's like one of those dreams that I really don't like. It's like everyone has those dreams, like they're falling, and they wake up right before they hit the ground. It's just this awakening, like scary moment. Like, oh, I almost died. Yeah, I've had some pretty creepy dreams like that, but and I've always had them as a child, which is really odd. One of my first dreams I remember is having a child as a killer doll. And
nice.
after I had that dream, Mommy Dearest, or excuse me, Dolly Dearest came out. And the fact that I had this dream before there was no trailers back then really for those films. Um, and I never remember seeing the trailer, but the fact that I actually had this dream premonition of this movie of a killer doll, and then this movie comes out. Yeah, so I was a strange child, a very strange child.
You predicted it, you know.
I did. I actually did. I predicted that that movie was going to come out.
It was coming for you, Lixy. Um,
Yeah, yeah, something was coming for me.
so, well, thank you so much. I mean, this honestly, I want to tell people, go see All Hallows Eve, watch it. If you're a fan of Terrifier at all and you haven't seen this movie, definitely go check it out, because it's a good precursor to Terrifier and Art the Clown. It's really, it is,
Yes.
it's creepier than anything else, you know. Um, and as far as anthologies go, it's really, really creepy. There's not many that can actually do
Lots of
that.
creep factors.
Yeah. Uh,
Lots of creepy factors. Uncomfortable horns, clown horns being honked, and creepy looks, and sad faces, and happy faces. So
which,
there's all kinds of crazy mental fucks going on in the film, but it was great. It was beautiful.
and you never hear Art talk, but he's still very, very creepy. And on top of that,
Very, very creepy.
I'm not like, okay, so I don't get, I'm not terrified of clowns. Clowns don't scare me. Even the only clowns that scare me are if, like, literally a clown were to, come up to me and you know put a knife to my throat. Yeah, I might be a little scared. I might be like, oh my god, what are you gonna do? But just their look or whatever, they don't creep me out. They just, it just is, just, they're either like creepy looking and I love it, or they are not very creepy looking, but they're still scary. Like Pennywise, the original
Oh yeah.
Pennywise, uh, Tim Curry was not very scary looking. You know,
He was not scary looking at all, but he was very, very creepy.
he was.
His projection of that clown of Pennywise was very, very creepy. I think it was just the happiness overload that you realized, oh no, this person must own a white van with no windows. It was that creepy.
Yes. Which I mean is great. I love the original Pennywise. The new Pennywise, they tried to make him look creepy, and I feel like that's the problem. It goes to like Annabelle. Annabelle as Raggedy Ann doll would probably creep me out more. You know, um,
More than, yeah, most
because it's just
definitely.
a normal doll. It's a doll that most kids freaking
Hmm.
had. Um, when you
Oh yeah, like a
when
killer Cabbage Patch doll.
right, I mean, I'm surprised nobody's done that. Is taking Cabbage Patch and tried to make a creepy doll
Hey,
out of it. You know,
we got that first. Well, we got it first. Well,
our
we
idea,
we
our
got that
idea here.
first.
So we'll make that
Ours.
happen. I don't know though. I mean, I don't know what the rights are to Cabbage Patch. Probably expensive.
I mean, you did have the Garbage Pail Kids, which was close to being pretty creepy, but that's on a whole nother
They're
talk there.
creepy, but they're also very ugly, and I don't know. Like, I mean,
But they're
I
fun
they're
and they're
fun.
funny.
They're funny. They're the what's the what is it? The basically the creepy version of Cabbage Patch Kids. Cabbage Patch dolls. Um,
Yes, yes, exactly. And Garbage Pail Kids, yes,
Once
for
again,
sure.
I'm not scared of dolls either. Like I've always
Yeah,
wondered why people are terrified of Chucky when you could just punt him. You know, like you could kick that doll
yeah,
through
yeah.
the freaking thing. I mean,
Yeah, that's all you had to do is you could just kick him. Yeah.
my dad always
Just kick
asked.
him or spray him with water.
My dad always asked why, like, how can he hold a fucking, knife in his hand? He always could, but if you like think about
Yeah.
it, like, how can a doll hold a knife? Like they're so tiny hands. Like
Yeah, little tiny hands. Little tiny hands.
I don't know how.
Tiny blade. You
No, not
didn't
even a
see.
tiny blade. It's a big blade. Tiny hands doesn't make any sense. I gotta watch the Chucky TV show some more, and just keep looking at how they do
Oh
that.
yeah.
Like get his hand to like hold a knife like that. It makes no sense.
I'm just really excited that Brad Dourif makes a comeback. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, I love him. Like he is the voice of
He is
Chucky.
Chucky.
It,
He is Chucky.
did you watch the
That
old
is
one?
his character.
Did you watch the new one,
Yes.
the remake?
Yes. 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 Hmm.
Mark Hamill. He did a good. I mean, honestly, he did a good job. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. 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 No, he did a really good job. Um, but it's Brad Dourif. You when you say Chucky, you have to have Brad Dourif. You can't have anybody else, and it just doesn't work unless you have Brad Dourif.
No. Well, thank you, Lixie. This has been awesome. This has been great. I've really appreciated having you on the show and talking All Hallows
It's been a
Eve.
blast.
I'm hoping that people who are celebrating Halloween uh, watch this movie, watch Terrifier, watch Trick or Treat, watch all those, fantastic uh, Halloween movies, for Halloween. Um, Obviously
Just
Halloween,
watch the
the original.
yes, Halloween, Halloween. You have to watch that.
I always
Can't
do. Like whenever I was
not.
passing out candy, I would watch, have the original
Yes,
Halloween in the background. Yes,
that's
has
what you're
to.
supposed to do. Yes, I love it.
Exactly. Kids are always like, "What's that on the, screen over there?" You know.
And it's like, oh, geez, well, you're not raising them right, parents. You're not raising them right.
I don't have the Rob Zombie one on only because they have a lot more curse words in that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't do that. You have
I'd
to
have to
try to
keep.
keep it a little bit parental
Yeah,
safe or
I mean,
what
there's
have you
people
not.
being killed either way, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true.
Well, thank you so
What
much.
can you do?
This has been so much fun. So can you tell people like what have you been up to? What can they see that you've been doing?
Um, to see what I've been doing, and you can definitely check out my Facebook page. I try to keep it more up to date. Just writing a bunch of things, working on some shorts and some scripts, and yeah, so definitely you can check me out on Lixy Malice Lestat, Facebook.com, and keep up with all of the latest things that I'm doing. And that's pretty much where you can catch everything at is right there. Or you can
Facebook.
see some of my work, and you can check me out on Lixy Lestat at TikTok,
Oh,
and you can find me
okay, you
there.
got a TikTok page.
Oh yeah, I got a few little TikToks I'm working on some. That way you can see some of the special effects and some of the things that I'm actually working on, photography and things of that nature. So yeah, you can
Nice.
check
I'll
me
have
out
to
on those
check out.
two
Yeah,
platforms.
I'll have to check that out. So I love
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
yeah, I love TikTok now. Like you
Oh yeah, they're
originally I
great.
hated it because I thought, oh man, it's for 13-year-old girls, blah blah blah, that want to do all these, and some people are really good at it and everything, and I'm just like, why? And then one of my friends got into it, and I mean, he's been making an empire out of it
Yeah.
for himself, and
Uh,
he's got a fan base that's never heard of him until
oh,
his
that's
TikTok.
awesome.
Yeah, and
That's
so he
great.
yeah, and he continues to do it, and he's just building his brand even bigger, and I love that stuff. So I love seeing all my friends and people who are out there going out there and doing TikToks. I mean, I tell people do it all
Oh,
the
for
time,
sure.
you
Oh
know.
yeah, for sure. Get out there, be goofy. Don't take life so serious. Just have fun with it. It's good.
Exactly. So yeah, so that's great. I'm glad you have your TikTok out there, and people can check out your Facebook, and I can't wait to see more shorts and more special effects from you.
No, thank you so much. It's definitely my pleasure being here. I had fun and looking forward to more.
Yeah, definitely. You'll be welcome back next season for the new one. But I
Yes.
want to say thank you all for checking this out. If you stick around, I'll chat with you. But everybody else, thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoy it, and join us tomorrow for Halloween, the last episode of for the season of 31 Days of Indie Horror. Bye.
Bye.